Hey everyone, it's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the multidimensional MD. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an integrative physician, a pediatrician, and a cranial osteopath. And my mission is to help bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that we can access deeper healing and experience more peace, love, and joy in our everyday lives. For today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the thymus and, as always, in a multi-dimensional approach. It is in the winter season right now, so we are needing our immune system to be optimally functioning. But also, it's the time between the holidays, Thanksgiving and the winter holidays, Christmas and other holidays. And so the veil is somewhat thinner now. So, this veil between our human world and the spirit world. And the thymus also is a part of our energetic heart center or heart chakra. So, we're going to weave in and out of understanding the thymus and its physical function and all of these other functions as well in a practical way, as I like to do, so that we can bring this into our everyday lives. So, I'll be going over an overview of the thymus, its location and its size, a difference between B cells and T cells, four types of thymus cells, T cells, four types of T cells, the hormonal function of the thymus, and thymus dysfunction, as well as ways to support the thymus and notes on the thymus and the heart shield. So let's start with thymus size and location. It is located here in your chest behind the sternum or breastbone and in front of the aorta. It's largest and most active in infants and children. And you actually start making T cells before you're born. You have about all the T cells you need by puberty. And at its largest, the thymus gland is about 1 ounce during puberty. So during your life, the thymus is susceptible to many things, including infection, shock, radiation, and chemotherapy. And the thymus does have regenerative properties, but those regenerative properties tend to decline as we age. And from studies, we know that we tend to stop producing new T cells by age 65. So, and this is really interesting, just noticing like the immunity over a lifetime. We think about little kids, babies that whose immune systems are still maturing, but their thymus is so active. And so they're growing, and maturing this immune system so that by puberty, we have a robust immune system. And hopefully that can last us through our lifetime. The elderly, we know, tend to be more susceptible to illnesses and infections, and that is partly due to the decline in the thymus function. However, we can address our thymus and do things that we can do to support our overall thymus function. So let's review the function of the thymus first. And to do that, we need to understand B cells versus T cells. These are both types of lymphocytes or white blood cells, which are part of your immune system. There's many different types of lymphocytes or white blood cells. About 80 to 90% of circulating white blood cells or lymphocytes are T cells, so very important, T cells for thymus cells, and 10 to 20% are B cells. The immature T cells, they're born first in the bone marrow, and then they migrate to the thymus, where they continue to mature before differentiating into different T cell types. And the T cells are responsible for cell-mediated immunity. So I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. So most B cells, well, B cells are also born in the bone marrow, B for bone marrow, T for thymus. And most of them mature in the bone marrow as well, and they produce antibodies. So B cells, with the help of helper T cells, so the B cells and T cells need to work together. The B cells in general are part of what's known as the humoral immunity or antibody-mediated immunity. The humoral or antibody-mediated immune system deals with freely circulating toxins, such as bacteria and viruses that are outside of infected cells. So, and then B cells will differentiate into other types of B cells, plasma B cells, that produce antibodies against specific antigens. And these antibodies, again, identify and bind intact antigens that are freely circulating. So they are outside of cells. T cells, on the other hand, deal with cells infected by pathogens, as well as cancer cells, so cells that are malfunctioning. And there are 4 types of T cells. There are effector T cells, cytotoxic T cells, helper T cells, and memory T cells. The effector T cells help the T cells differentiate into other types. The cytotoxic or CD8 T cells are responsible for cell-mediated immunity. They identify and destroy infected cells and cancer cells through a process called apoptosis, where it literally breaks down the cells. And so compare that again to the B cells that bind to the antigens directly with antibodies. They produce antibodies to help your immune system. Now, these both work together. The helper T cells, also known as CD4 cells, when they're activated, they multiply and secrete chemicals called cytokines, which then call on cytotoxic T cells and macrophages, which is another type of white blood cell, to the site of infection or where the trouble is. And then the 4th type of T cell are the memory T cells. These are longer living and they remember pathogens so that our bodies can respond faster the next time they encounter specific pathogens. Memory T cells can also differentiate into effector T cells when activated. So you can start the whole process again, calling in more help as needed. The thymus also has a lot of hormonal function, and most people don't know this. So, thymus produces many different thymus hormones, including thymosin and thymolin, which direct the T cells to differentiate into specialized types. There's also thymopoietin, which increases the production of T cells and provides feedback to the pituitary. So here we have our whole glandular system needing to work together. Your pituitary is up here, part of your master gland control. The thymus also produces thymic humoral factor, which regulates the immune system overall. Again, the humoral immune system is that antibody-mediated immune system. So you see how both the T cells and the B cells and the thymus and bone marrow are working together here. And interestingly, the thymus also produces insulin, melatonin, growth hormone, and prolactin. Those are fascinating because these hormones are typically known to be produced by other endocrine glands. But here we have the thymus also producing, again, insulin, melatonin, growth hormone, prolactin. So insulin usually is produced by the pancreas, the melatonin in the pineal gland, but also produced elsewhere, including the thymus, growth hormone from the pituitary, and then prolactin, also pituitary. So these somehow work all together in this feedback system. And when we're going to talk a little bit more about the thymus in that location in the heart chakra, this energetic heart center, which is higher than the actual physical heart, but it's part of this heart chakra. And when you see how many different hormones that the thymus produces, you start to realize how important this energetic heart center is to provide feedback to the rest of the body and help direct things. So I want you to keep that in mind, because it's not necessarily like our mind that should be running the show, but more coming from this energetic heart center. So learning how to listen to the intuition of the heart and how letting that direct the rest of the body, directing the rest of your manifestation system with the function of the pituitary and all these other glands and your nervous system. So this is more of an overview, but when you see how much the thymus does, it is fascinating just to contemplate and consider how all of these systems need to work together. So when the thymus goes awry, you get some sort of thymus dysfunction. You can have an overactive thymus, and if you have that, you can be at risk for tumors and cancers because it's not able to regulate these infected or cells that have gone awry. You can also have some autoimmune diseases, such as myasthenia gravis, causing muscle weakness. Lupus, another autoimmune disease, can contribute to hyperthyroidism. You could have symptoms of inflamed tonsils or congestion, just your immune system's not able to regulate itself, chronic runny nose, or enlarged lymph nodes in general. If it's underactive, you're also at risk for some similar things. So, for cancers, infections, and autoimmune diseases. So, anytime it's out of balance, not optimally functioning, then you can it can create disturbances in the rest of the body as well. So, how can we better support our thymus function? And this all has to do with a healthy lifestyle, healthy eating. So, from the foods, we know antioxidants. So, vitamin C from citrus and berries, vitamin A and other antioxidants from those orange colored vegetables and like carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, and other squashes. We also have cruciferous veggies providing some antioxidants and minerals. Cruciferous veggies include kale, broccoli, Brussels, cauliflower, cabbage. Great time of year to have all these dark greens that you can blend into a soup or mix into other things. Have them with every meal as much as you can because we need these nutrients. And when our bodies are working harder and it's colder, then sometimes our immune systems are called on more. And so we need to support them as much as possible. Other dark leafy greens, spinach, again, kale, all different kinds, collard greens. We also need vitamin D, which is usually our sunshine vitamin. So during the cold months, the darker months, then we may need to supplement. And I would say that most people, especially in the northern hemisphere, New England area, need some vitamin D during the winter. For those a little bit closer to the equator, it will just depend on how much you are outside. I am in Georgia in the southeast of the United States, and if I'm inside a lot and not getting sunshine, then I'll take some extra vitamin D. You also want to make sure that your minerals are you're getting enough of them, especially iron. You need that iron to bring oxygen all around and to help your energy status overall. So again, from the dark greens, from beans, from organ meats, zinc, and another mineral and vitamin E you can also find from nuts and seeds like pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, oatmeal. Selenium, another great mineral that is great for your immune system and your thymus and your thyroid. You can get those from Brazil nuts. And I'll usually try to have like a couple Brazil nuts a day, maybe 2 or 3, to make sure my selenium stores are up. Exercise is great for the thymus because you need that thymus to be receiving circulation from the blood and the nervous system and lymph system. And the lymph system is also part of your immune system. You can also bring in some medicinal foods and herbs like thyme, which is such a great name for something that supports the thymus. So thyme, which is spelled Thyme, has a scientific name as Thymus vulgaris. So it's in the name. And thyme is known for its antibacterial, antiviral effects and is supportive for the immune system. So it helps to boost the thymus function overall. So thyme is so great. You can use it as a tea. You can sprinkle it into your foods. Great for savory dishes. Thyme is such a great culinary herb that also has amazing medicinal properties. Rose hips is a nice dark kind of pinkish reddish color that can be used as a tea or taken as a supplement. Astragalus, which is a root, and it's been shown to help protect the immune system, boost the immune system. It can be great for allergies as well as like overall immune system function. There was a 2004 study that was done on mice, but it showed that astragalus helped protect thymus cells from chemotherapy drug cyclophosphamide. And that's really helpful. So again, certain things that can affect the thymus function, and the thymus can be sensitive to certain drugs and radiation. And so if you have had to undergo that, then maybe astragalus would be something helpful for you. Again, speak to your physician or other integrative holistic practitioner to make sure it's right for you. Sometimes for autoimmune issues, they don't want to have these immune boosting herbs and other things. But astragalus is very gentle. You can buy it dried and you can put it into soups and broths. If I'm making a bone broth from leftover turkey bones, chicken bones, a rotisserie chicken, then I might add that astragalus root to it to make it a healthier broth, more medicinal broth to just get more out of it. You could add some medicinal mushrooms to that as well. Maitake, reishi, those help to modulate the immune system. So if things are up, it can bring them down. If things are low, it can bring it up. If it's overactive, like for allergies, it can bring it, balance it. Or if it's underactive, like you needing to have a better immune response because you keep catching colds, then it can help with that too. Echinacea is an herb. There's different kinds of echinacea, but it's known for its ability to boost the thymus function. It's typically taken at the first sign of any cold or viral illness and take it as directed, usually multiple times a day, and it will give you this boost. How much you need really just depends on your constitution and what's going on for you. And again, that's another one that for people with autoimmune diseases, some people say use more cautiously or speak with your physician before using. If you don't have any autoimmune diseases, then or issues, and then echinacea is a great herb to just really give like this big punch. So as you start to feel run down, it can give you this boost to kind of overcome it before you get really sick. This best use early on in the illness versus chronic use. So echinacea is for acute use. So that is a great overview of ways to support the thymus. And then we're going to round it out with just talking a little bit about the thymus and the heart shield. The heart shield is something that I've noticed so much, especially after the pandemic and with quarantine and all the stress that people were under. So, anytime there's any stress or trauma, then there will be some sort of like curling in of the body, typically. So, that creates tension, and that tension will put pressure not just on the heart, literally the physical heart, but it will also put pressure on the physical thymus. And then energetically, you have this protection of this heart shield, which is a great coping mechanism to carry you through really overwhelming times, but it's not meant to stay there indefinitely. So, if you practice yoga or other kinds of healing exercises, then any heart opening exercises can be really great. Even just rotating your shoulders like this up and then to the back, and then letting your shoulders kind of settle back down into place and not get all hunched up. Imagining if you had energetic wings, imagining those sprouting from your back and opening up big and symmetric in both directions. That can help to open up the front of the heart chakra as well as the back. And so that this energy that is emanating from your heart center can also circle back around to you. And so when you have this opening here, you could also get more circulation to the thymus and to the heart. And so they can all function better, optimally. I also did a meditation a while back. I'll drop the link in the comments below. This is on transforming your heavy heart shield into a shield of light, because it's not that a heart shield is good or bad per se. It's more that over time, it's not something that is sustainable, because if you have this tension, then you will shield yourself from things on the outside, but you'll also shield yourself from receiving love as well. And being able to share that love and light from the essence of your being freely. So as you're feeling better, then it's best to address this heart shield so that we can open up this energetic heart center again, opening up the physical thymus and heart as well, so that the circulation is more optimal to them, so that they can function more optimally, like literally like physiological function, and as well as energetic function, so that we can express ourselves freely and share the love and light of our beings with ourselves and the world. I hope that is helpful for you in some way. If there is anyone that could use this information, then please feel free to share it. Please like or subscribe or let me know your questions and comments below. And if you'd like to connect with me in other ways, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health, on Facebook, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics, and my website, allworldshealth.com. You can sign up for my e-love letters. I send them out once a week, usually on Wednesdays. And couple other things. If you haven't already, you can. Some of these exercises are actually in my book. I Am Intuitive, a multidimensional guide to embrace your inner light. And people have, I would say, over half the books that have been purchased have been for gifts for other people. So that's really amazing, how much everyone's been getting out of it, that they are hoping to share that with other people. And those are ways for you to access your own inner light. And one other announcement, we have an amazing class coming up with School of Stillness on December 14th on Saturday. It's available both in person and virtually in limited numbers. And this is with the legendary Maxine Taylor, who's a dear friend of mine. She has over 50 years of experience as an astrologist, and she's hoping to pass on much of her wisdom to you. So she's going to teach all of us how to read our own charts, our own astrological charts, which is amazing because when you're able to look at your chart and no one else tells you about you, and you're able to read these aspects of yourself that someone else is not telling you, you can know whether to trust yourself or not. And it's so empowering because you get to learn how to navigate these different aspects of yourself. And it's all with love and encouragement and support. None of it is fear-based. And I feel like it's just another way to get to know yourself. So if that's something you're called to participate in, then you can find more information on my website. That's allworldshealth.com under events. And we will be posting more courses and classes for School of Stillness, where everyone is a healer, on that website. For now, and if you want to hear more about it, just sign up for the e-love letters and we'll notify you every week as things roll out. So lots of love to all of you. I hope you have a beautiful week. I believe in you, and I hope that you believe in you too. I'll see you next time.